2 years max. Yeah, like 2 years max. I think next year's prime. If it looks really good, or if they do win, they might extend it for another. Curry and Jimmy Butler's contracts are tied to get together. Like they basically end at the same time. So when those deals end, so yeah, 2027. So 2 years. Yeah.
Let us go to teams.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go.
Alrighty. I think obviously we're gonna go with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They just won a championship. Top 3 team, basically both in offense and defense. They're gonna more than likely be a dynasty, just how they're set up. And I mean, Nikola Jokic never played an NBA game, and he just won the championship. First player to ever do so. And that guy probably would be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. Now, 2, Pacers. I think the Pacers just show that these are both teams that I don't think they're paying the luxury tax, and they made it into the NBA Finals. They show that you need, one guy to fuel the offense, and Shea and Tyrese. You need, a killer guy who can play both ends of the ball, and J-Dub and Pascal. And then you need, 5 to 6 dudes who compete on the other end of the bench, which gives you 8 dudes. Or 8 to 9 dudes deep for the playoffs, maybe 10 in the regular season. And the Pacers lost their 2 big men to both popped Achilles, 3 popped Achilles this year on the roster, and we're able to replenish that with Tony Bradley and Thomas Bryant. Kudos to them. Yeah. Now, man, 3. I think 3, it's difficult. It's really difficult because I think there's a lot of teams that could go right here as, man, each team has their flaws, and I think that 3 is very, very close. Like, I just want to, because I'm looking at the Nuggets, I'm looking at the Cavs, I'm looking at the Timberwolves, I'm looking at the and that's where I think, do I go a team like Minnesota? Or do I go a team like Boston? I know, I think I'm gonna go Boston. They were, before the Tatum injury, they were super good. And the only reason I don't think I considered them at first was I was just thinking about the Tatum injury and just how everything just went to crap after that, and it just kind of made you forget about it. But I think that was just, I think, another team that built similarly, maybe a bit more expensive than the Thunder, but exactly how like the Thunder were, and have, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday. It's just such a good built team that I think if they really want to, they could have a gap year and still be, not even need a gap year and still be competitive in this upcoming season if they can find maybe somebody to fill the Tatum role. Now,
I just wait real quick. I agree with everything you said regarding Celtics, and it's sad that they're even looking to. I wish they had a gap. They wish they could just do that gap year, but it just sounds like they are going to find a way to deal Brown and kind of retool instead of just have a semester off. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of sad. I hope as a basketball fan, it's sad. As a Wizards fan, y'all can do what y'all want. But it's pretty sad though. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like a more expensive version of Thunder right now, and yeah, so I agree definitely.
Yeah. So with that said, I think the other thing is that like the next team I was gonna say after the Celtics would be the Timberwolves and then the Knicks. I think these two teams, Timberwolves 4, Knicks 5, they're both built well. They have, I think the Timberwolves are better set up with Anthony Edwards and just like how their contracts are set up, and even with Rudy Gobert, Naz Reid, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels. Hopefully they can keep Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, Mike Conley. And then they have a bunch of young guys that I actually think have way more potential than the Knicks young guys. While the Knicks, No offense to the Mikal Bridges, or Josh Hart. I think those guys, it's not that you can't depend on them in big moments. I think OG Anunoby's fine. I think Jalen Brunson's fine. Cat's fine. I just think this team needs more depth, and they don't have one or two pieces to help when either a Josh Hart or a Mikal Bridges ends up having a bad night. They don't have somebody like a Gilgeous-Alexander Walker or a Dante DiVincenzo to come off the bench, or a Reed. And while like if Rudy Gobert or Julius Randle or Anthony Edwards or Jaden McDaniels has a bad night, they have a plethora of guys. And then they have Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon, Josh Minot, Leonard Miller, all which I think compared to like Pacome, Ty Kolek, just gives me more faith than the Knicks in terms of being able to follow that up. Now,
real quick, that I see, 4 and 5 Knicks and Timberwolves. I feel like that was they trade before the season. They had that trade. Who do you see benefiting? I know both of them equally benefited from it, but what team do you see benefiting more in the future? I think Julius Randle's contract is coming up.
He'll pick up the option, so it's going to be expiring. So basically, like you said, going off what you said, Timberwolves, due to the fact that they got cap flexibility, they got out of Karl-Anthony Towns' contract, which I think either starts next season or this season, paying him $60 million a year, which I think he gets 54 this year, and the last year or two is like 60, 63. I think getting out from that contract, and especially getting a shorter contract in Randle, and then obviously DiVincenzo, the cap flexibility was huge for the T-Wolves, and allowed them to retool. They allowed them to expand the window and retool like they should with this roster. While I think the Knicks kind of went all in on a window.
All right, so Timberwolves looks like they're going to benefit more in the future with that one. All right, before I move on, I'm going to remind people to be a part of the rankings. Go to fanrankings.com. Go to the contact us page. Send me a message. Let me know you want to rank. Your rankings will be a part of our power rankings video at the end of the season. Cyril's rankings will be a part of it. My rankings will be a part of it. And hopefully yours too. You will be also eligible for a prize during our next live if you want to be a part of this. So fanatics.com gift card I'm throwing out there, or amazon.com gift card I'm throwing out there. So go to fanrankings.com and hit the contact us page. Let me know you want to rank. All right. Sorry to stop you there. Who you got 6?
So 6, I'm going to go Cavs and then Clippers, and kind of similar things. Cavs, super offensive team, young. I think part of the problem there was a little bit of playoff inexperience, and not that the lights were too bright, but I think for them, they didn't have outside, like Mobley and Donovan Mitchell are their guys. I like them to keep Allen, but I don't think they have that, not a get out of jail free card, but a guy who can bail them out, I think is the right way to say it. They don't have a bailout guy. And that's why I think they were dark horses to get Kevin Durant. I think that's why they're going to continue to be looking for people to be that second, third guy, because I think Evan Mobley's a really good 3 and defensive stalwart for you, and Donovan Mitchell's your key cog. I think you could flip Garland for a cheaper point guard that can give you the same value that Garland gave you on a cheaper contract. Jared Allen, I really like him, but similar thought process. You could probably get someone who gives you somewhat of similar value on a cheaper contract, and they just need to find someone who can be their bailout guy when Donovan Mitchell's getting double team, like how Chris Middleton was for Giannis. They need something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And the same thing goes for the Clippers. Is outside of James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, yes, Norman Powell's cool and all that, and they have all these tools and defensive weapons, and that's so cool. But if Kawhi's hurt, or if James, which he's prone to, James needs to be your third guy. You need kind of a bona fide too to be like right there who can help you. Again, that's why Kevin Durant was probably someone they wanted. Is a DeMar DeRozan someone like that that's going to help you, who's a very clutch player? Now spacing becomes a concern, but I think Clippers were a team that they could have been sleepers to go and basically do a similar thing that the Pacers did. I just think the Pacers have Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese, and Pascal, while it's Kawhi and James. And no offense to Zubats or Norman Powell, it's just not the same thing. Now, Warriors, I think Draymond Green, Curry, and Jimmy Butler, B-Pod. I guess their center is going to be a combination of Kevon Looney, Trace Jackson Davis, and Quinn Post. Buddy Hield. Like, I think there's some good pieces. I think there's some concern about, like, durability and the young guys on this team if they're going to show up, but that's why I have them at 8. Then 9, we'll go. We're going to go Detroit Pistons so I can talk about Kate Cunningham. Where okay. No. I'm not going to do 9 Detroit. That's a lie. Damn it.
No.
I would have loved. Yeah, I can't do that because I got to put the Rockets and then I got to put the Nuggets. So Rockets, especially that they just got Kevin Durant, but last year, dude, they had Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, and even Fred VanVleet had a bad year, but like this is still one of the best teams. They won 50 games this year, and this is a team that Alperen Şengün is probably the second best European big man behind Jokic. He surpassed Domantas Sabonis. And Amen Thompson's an absolute freak. Tari Eason's a defensive dog. They still have Jeff Green and Jock Landale, Aaron Holiday. It's just such a deep team and just really well built and coached by Ime Udoka and has so much flexibility that they're in a really good position. And of course, Denver Nuggets, Jokic, Aaron Gordon. As long as those two are there, no matter how much Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. can be inconsistent and streaky, I think those two guys, especially Christian Braun, helping out. And I think they just Jokic and like just that team is just really, really well built, not built, but like really well positioned to be one or two pieces away from being able to retool back into a contender. But yeah, that's my 10.
Okay. Your last 3. How long do you think the window do the Warriors have? Because
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's even sooner than that.
2 years max, yeah. Like 2 years max. I think next year's prime, if it looks really good or if they do win, they might extend it for another. But what year, I think when the Curry and Mr. Jimmy Butler's contracts are tied to get together, like they basically end at the same time. So when those deals end, so yeah, 2027. So 2 years, yeah, 2 years.
2 years,
and then Rockets, their window is past Durant. Like I think they got a 5-year window if they take that jump this coming season. And then the Nuggets, I mean, as long as Jokic is there.
With the Nuggets, is there anybody, Durant's off the table now. Is there anybody that can
if they can flip Jamal Murray for Zach LaVine, I would do that.
Okay. All right, that actually makes sense. Okay.
But and then the same thing, if I can flip Michael Porter for like a Cam Johnson or like just turn players of similar contracts into either better value or similar value in a better contract for, in the Michael Porter. I think Cam Johnson can give you the same thing Michael Porter Jr. does at a $10 million less. And then I think Zach LaVine's a better player than Jamal Murray and Jamal Murray's not a point guard. They just need to find a different point guard or a different guy, or just say Jokic is the full-time point guard and just have Zach LaVine, a guy who can play on or off ball and take over games and actually be a consistent 20, 30 point scorer.
Okay. As I look in your top 10, I really see nothing but young teams. The number 1 Thunder, 2 Pacers, 3 Boston, 4 Minnesota, 5 New York, 6 Cleveland. We have the Clippers, we have the Warriors, and Houston, and then they got the Nuggets. Clippers, Warriors, and Nuggets. You said Warriors had a 2-year window. Clippers is how long do you think they have? I don't see them going up. Dude,
I think it might be next year. It's just 1 year. 1 year. But also Tyronn Lue's a really good coach. Yeah. the Clippers are just an enigma that like it's weird. It's been like this since Kawhi's there, so I just don't count them out. But yeah, I think a lot of it is just young teams because it's a game of runs and you need guys on the floor to run.
Yeah, and then speaking of coaching, did the Knicks jump the gun regarding firing Tibbs right now? I understand why they did it. I just don't see. I just maybe they had to do it early to start looking, or I don't know. What do you think about their coaching situation?
I mean, I think it's the reason they did it was they can't do much to upgrade the roster. So the only way you can fix this is by getting a different coach to give you a different. Basically, the thought is if the food sucks or the food isn't bad, but it's not coming out up to snuff, maybe hire a new chef to cook it and to see if it's going to come out better, if that makes sense. So the whole thought is, like, I was going back, they're interviewing James Borrego. They interviewed Mike Brown, who I think Mike Brown's the best coaching candidate that they interviewed. They also interviewed Taylor Jenkins. What's one thing they all three have in common? They're all former Spurs assistant. So I think they really want fundamentally sound defense first while having a bit of more offensive ingenuity, because I think they believe that like they can get this team to play really good offense naturally, but I think they want more play design while also being more creative about their defense. Just Thibodeau is just a straight up old school coach who plays like my guys are going to play hard. Guys on the floor are going to play hard because that's how they're going to get their minutes. And I'm going to ride or die and lose because of my 7-man rotation.
All right. It just didn't seem like the Knicks had a backup chef, had an idea of a chef. They just, I don't know. They sound like they stopped at Ruth Chris and they're going to get that chef they wanted. They stopped at, I don't know, Fogarty Chow or whatever. They didn't get their chef. So yeah, it's just the news the rumors and stuff that was coming in. It was just like, what are you guys doing? I understood what they did. I understood why, but then it started getting confusing what they were doing. But if they're hollering at those guys, then okay, it looks like they're going in the right direction. Go to fanrankings.com to rank, to be a part of the power rankings, and a chance to win prizes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to support the channel.
Thank you for watching.